Yes, man, subject matter. How to master
Master your emotions.
your emotions. Yes, I was kind of
Yeah.
mentioning it briefly earlier. I was, dropping a little bit of my knowledge on mastering emotions, and
Yeah.
you know what? That seems to be like a really hot topic nowadays because people are, a lot of times caught up in technology, caught up in these like Facebook and not to mention caught up in not to mention specific organizations, but caught up in things that are going on social media and things that are going on in the family and also personal things that are going on where we take so much give so much time and energy to what's going on the outside, we forget about what's going on the inside, what's going on internally and personal with ourselves and with our personal lives. And
Exactly.
what would you
Exactly.
in your research, your training, what would you say are important things to know or when it comes to mastering your emotions?
So, okay, so the reason why I want to talk about this topic is because I had dinner with my son over the weekend, and he said something that like was really interesting. And he's young; he's only 23, but he was like, "Mom, why is it that the black woman, beautiful, very pretty, have the worst attitude?" Now,
Uh oh.
I've heard that before, and me living in the city, I kind of can like firsthand see it because it just so happened the day after that. Apparently, I guess there was a couple, and I guess the guy locked the keys in the car,
Okay.
and his girl went ballistic,
Wow.
literally. Like, I mean, in the streets, just going crazy, and it kind of made me think, like, okay, first, this is a good topic we need to talk about because we have a lot of. I'm not saying as a race itself, especially African American and specifically women, because I can relate to them. Um, how we have so much suppressed, we have so much anger inside of us. It could
Right.
be from past relationship, it could be from childhood, it could be from generational, and we still carrying in that energy. And when it comes to emotion, emotion is energy in motion. That's all it is.
Energy in
Just
motion. Yes.
yes, yes.
Tell
So
them.
just so it's we hear about the whole law of attraction and about you know changing and reprogramming your thoughts and yes, but the feeling, the emotion is way more stronger because it comes from our heart, and our heart has this electromagnetic energy that's like 60 times more powerful than our brain.
Right.
So with that being said, it's now more of African American communities are being diagnosed with the bipolar. I mean, you can ask anyone who had a past relationship, either they got divorced, they got separated, and I would ask like some of these gentlemen, it's like, well, what happened? Like, why it didn't work out in your relationship? I kid you not, Don. I kid you not. Like 90% of the time, they would say, "Yo, I think she got bipolar." I mean,
And
I'm not saying that that's true or not, but the emotional disturbance that we
right.
have, and you don't have to be diagnosed with bipolar, but when you have these, um, first it starts with feelings. There's nothing wrong with feeling, negative emotions like being angry, being sad, um, guilt or shame. We human, so we have to feel those type of feelings. It is how long we stay in those state of mind and in that low vibrational frequency that turns it into emotions.
So,
And go ahead.
so what do you think what's causing it? What do you think the cause is that's causing?
It's suppressed emotion. It is something that had happened. It could be a past relationship, past, anything from childhood that we are holding on, that we are afraid to let it out, to come to the surface because it's so painful.
So do
You
you
guys,
think? So do you think when it gets to a bipolar level, that's like emotions on overload? Your body's just
yeah, because
overloaded.
it's when bipolar, you get your highs and you get your lows. Like, bipolar is also known as manic depression.
Oh
Someone
yes,
could be like super duper happy, and the next thing you know, they trigger,
nosedive.
and So I'm not saying, because I'm not a
Psychologist.
physician or a
Right.
licensed
Right.
therapist, but speaking of having family members and having friends who's been diagnosed with bipolar, it is suppressed emotions that it can be so painful to bring it up that they try to push it down. So look at it as negative emotions um, that are buried alive. Think of that. And eventually, your body is going to respond based on those suppressed emotions. And that's why, if you might get low back pains or kidney problems, especially kidneys, because our kidneys hold our chi.
And
And
you
when we're
think it's?
angry,
Do you think it's kidneys because there's a filter?
yes, yes. If you're not releasing it, just like someone who might have, urinary tract disorder, or urinary, bladder infection, kidney infections. You look at it, it's like, oh, that's minor. You just go to the doctor, they give you something, give you a pill, and then you'll be good. But actually, no. So the thing is really getting down to the root of, all diseases. There's a root. There's a reason for that. There's a root cause for that. And it always, based on science, is based on trapped emotions. So, but yeah, that kind of made me want to talk about that, because people are angry, and listen to my son. I was like, you're right. I've seen some beautiful women here in Atlanta who are just bad, and some people just don't know what they're mad about.
Right. Because do you think it's because they're not taking the time out to get to know themselves?
Yes, and they're not taking the time out to actually feel and process those emotions. Sometimes, yes, in order for you to, we talked about the last show, we talked about the winner strategies, right?
Right.
Well, if your emotion is controlling you and taking over you, you're not going to win. It's only so far you can go. You might take a couple of steps, but what happens when your emotions, when that triggers, it could be someone who, just flip you a bird in traffic, or honk your horn because you're not moving fast enough. And the next thing you know, they out there cursing and going ballistic. That's trapped emotions.
So so what do you think the answer is to releasing or relieving ourselves of these
Well,
and then coming to terms with who we are? What do you think the answer would be to
oh,
resolve?
that's such a great question. So there is a scientific term. It's called neuroplasticity, right? And basically, it is your brain ability to form these new neural connections. So in a way, it's we all have the ability to reprogram the brain activity to respond in a certain way, especially if it's a changed environment or a new situation. So it is more of, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, right? Let's just someone flip you the bird, and you next thing you know, you cursing them out, you going ballistic, whatever. And eventually, there is something. It may not be that person that flipped you that bird that really pissed you off. It's deeper than that.
Right.
So if we actually sit back and, like I told you before, because I'm a firm believer when it comes to energy healing, is paying attention to the language of our body. If we sit
Right.
back
What's the
and
language of the body?
the language of the body is listening to where there's stagnant energy, where how your chi is flowing. I use, at one of the techniques I use is NLP, but it's
Okay.
really understand, like, you know when you're tired,
Right.
you know when you're mad, you also know how your body feels when you're tired.
Okay.
But some people don't. Some of us do not want to feel and get to the root of why they might be angry or why they might be mad.
Right. So when you mention chi, explain that. Explain chi in the
Well,
body and how.
chi is energy. That's, in Chinese, the chi, you got prana, and East Asia. So it's all the same thing. Some people call it life force.
Okay.
So all it is what it is. It's your life force. It's the energy, how you flow, because how you breathe, how you walk. You don't think about that, right?
Not at all.
It's Yeah, it's the energy
Right.
that flows that make our organs, um, um, not organs to produce or to function in a proper way. So
That-
when our energy and our chi or our prana is in balance, then that's what it causes some emotional disturbance. That's where it causes, physical illness. Um, that's where you start attracting people or situations or events that it may not be a favor.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay, because this chi not only is inside our body, but we have this electromagnetic field around us. So whatever
Right.
we feel in, you gotta think about it. We're like a battery. There's a north and a south pole. Our root chakra is our south pole, and our crown chakra, our brain, is our north pole. So our body has to have electrical. The electrical current has to flow freely. Now, I'm not saying that this is like, everyone out there, you know, we have the capacity, we have the knowledge now that we can heal ourselves. Um, I, I, I just think some people just look at it as just it's too much work or it's too painful to deal with it.
Right. Because my next question was, it was going to be, how do we form our energy chi in our bodies? Is it from thinking? Then thinking, thoughts changing when the thoughts go in the mind, the thoughts are the language of the mind, feelings the language of the body.
It's your thoughts and your emotions. Because remember, when it comes to the law of attraction, it's just not your thoughts. So even if you say, I'm beautiful, I'm sexy, I'm fly, but deep down inside, if you have insecurities, you don't really believe. Consciously, you're saying it, just like anyone could say, I want to be wealthy. I could be wealthy, or I want, I deserve to be in a loving relationship. But if deep down inside, if you don't have those emotions that's in alignment of your thoughts, then that's a contradiction.
Okay. So you know
So
what the next question is going to be, right?
what?
How do we get our energy lined up with our thoughts so that we can recreate our realities?
That's where the neuroplasticity comes in. That's reprogramming our thoughts and our emotions. Now, the emotions to some people might take, it could be a little difficult, especially if it's something of a trauma that happened in the past. So the first thing I would suggest, if someone just sit in silence, get your phone, leave your phone, turn off everything, no distractions, to be in silence, and whatever you're feeling, let it come to the surface. Don't judge it. Don't figure out where it came from. Just allow it to come to the surface, right?
Look,
So what you start to feel is you start to feel blockage. You start to feel heavy. You ever heard of that term when someone was heartbroken? They said their heart weighed heavy.
right.
Okay, so when we have these negative emotions, it because we are energetic beings, it takes us from being energetic light beings to more dense matter. So that's where you feel heavy. That's where you start feeling the pain. So we bring those emotions up, and first, I suggest anyone who might be possibly bipolar, to go see a psychiatrist. I think with African Americans, we feel like, oh, I don't want nobody to say I'm crazy, or, I'm saying that no one in our family is supposed to have diagnosed in these type of mental illness. But what happens if you diagnose with schizophrenia, bipolar, massive depression, there's a good chance, especially our young boys, to be incarcerated.
Right, because a lot of people are thinking they're good or they can handle it.
And sometimes you think you can handle it. The only way you can handle it is you bring it to the surface and then you reprogram it. So, for example, you find out something in your past. Let's say a past relationship, and you bring that relationship up. You think about it. You start to feel the blockage. You start to feel the hurt. Once you start feeling the hurt, then you say, okay, now it's time for me to release it.
But what if the person's a little bit scared? Scared to hear that, to feel that hurt. A little scared to feel that pain. It's scared. I'm not trying to feel no pain. And then a man is not trying to cry or nothing like that.
But hey, either you release it and reprogram it and bring in more positive emotions. So the thing is, it's not so much that you feel like you have to cry or anything, but if you want to win, then there's things you have to work within yourself. You cannot do exactly the same thing by the same thoughts.
Yes, I understand. I totally get it.
So you got to change your thoughts. And when you change your thoughts, you also got to change your emotions, because you change your thought and your emotion is going to change your behavior. But it sometimes, yes, it can be painful, but that is part of work. That's part of growth. So when that stuff comes up and you was like, you know what? Hey, I got to fix it. My car got repo. It sucks. But you know what? I'm going to get through this.
Right.
Because I always do. Things are going to get better. I am going to find and figure out a way to prevent this from happening again.
Yes.
Now, when you start changing what you say to yourself, because whatever self-talk is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Whatever you tell yourself, it is going to manifest. Regardless if you believe in a law of attraction, believe in any other universal laws, you're going to manifest exactly what you say and what you feel. So if you start taking the time and saying, you know what, I'm tired of feeling angry. I'm tired of having low back pains, or I'm tired of feeling, my shoulders being so heavy and I'm so tense. I want to change it. And once you realize and come to, that's a lot of people are in denial. Like, you got an anger problem. No, I don't, because someone did this and someone did that. That's denial, right?
Right, yes. Or financial problem, or emotional problem, or whatever kind of problem.
You can't. Whatever problems, issues that you have, you cannot blame it on anyone else. Because when you learn how to master your emotions, even if someone, a family member or a husband or wife or whatever, whoever's in your life that's close to you, when they're going through something, when you learn how to master your emotions, you also going to be strong enough. You're going to be strong enough and be shielded so that person's emotion, that person's negative energy won't come back on you, because we have a lot of empaths. And empaths are those who are very sensitive to energy out there.
Right.
Especially if it's a loved one.
And you
You're
know
always
what?
going to feel the energy of your loved one than some random folk that walks down the street.
And I'm glad you mentioned loved ones, because my next question to you would be, do you think that a lot of relationships fail because of this idea of having the emotions not mastered, and clean yourself out before you go into a relationship?
Yeah. I'm starting to get a little annoyed yeah, I am starting to get a little annoyed how many times men will say, I want, it's just so ironic, they say, I don't want a woman who got baggage, right? And I don't think anyone wants anyone who got baggage. But think about it. And I sit up there and I tell her, like, dude, if you attracting these women who got baggage, could it be that you got baggage too?
Law of attraction.
Exactly.
You don't
If you
attract
didn't
what
have
you are.
baggage,
You
that means
attract.
your vibration is. If you didn't have baggage, your vibration is higher. You're vibrating at a higher frequency. You are not going to attract anyone who's vibrating at a low frequency. Someone who's depressed. Someone who's always angry. So if you're attracting these so-called women or ladies who got baggage, that just means you got garbage you need to clean out. So instead of this whole gender thing,
You better not tell that to the wrong person.
no, I did tell that to one. They got mad at me. They got mad at me. But at the end of the day, they called me back. He was like, you know what, Nan, you're right, because no one ever told me that.
Wow.
Because usually when people have problems, what they want to do is they want to talk to someone and say, yeah, right, girl, oh my God, yeah, bump him. You don't need him. He ain't this, he ain't that. Most people are narcissists. I kid you not.
Right.
Majority of people are narcissists. It's always about themselves.
Well, that's
and
the
they
ego.
want
That's the ego
validation from other
speaking.
people.
Yeah, that's the ego speaking. So,
Yeah.
well, until they are able to become the I, and understand that they're multidimensional,
Yeah.
and see themselves, take a look at themselves from the outside, separating themselves from themselves.
Yes.
They will always speak as if they are all three, without understanding that they're multidimensional. And that's getting to know
okay,
yourself.
so you got really deep, Don. you got deep. But it's true. And I think the first part of healing is awareness.
Absolutely.
So but yeah, and like I said, sometimes you can run in, even if you do your healing, you're going to run into new challenges. You know what I'm saying? Life is not, I can't agree now that life is that difficult. It can be difficult. It can be challenging. Years ago, if you would ask me, I was just like, life is basically bull ass. You know what I'm saying? But now, as I've learned and went through my growth and going through this journey, I realized life is what you make of it. So yes, someone else got hurt and you feel bad for them because they got hurt. That doesn't mean you got to carry their energy. And that's what we're doing. We're carrying not only our own energy, but we're carrying other people's energy, our loved ones, our parents, our siblings, those who we're in an intimate relationship with, because we feel obligated. We feel obligated to pick it up. No, no, no. What we are here is to heal ourselves. And when we heal ourselves, that's how we're going to help heal others. Because people gonna start looking at us like, what are you doing? You're doing something different. How do you be so calm? Yo, but Fulton County Police is here. How you so calm?
Yeah.
Because I'm good.
Emotional, because you're good.
I'm good.
Emotional detox with Nan Ross. That's another show, ladies and gentlemen. Emotional detox. We're going to just talk about the ways to emotionally detoxify yourself.
Yeah, but if you want to win, if you want to move further in life, you want to take yourself to the next level, you got to think about what's holding you back. Is it your thoughts? Is it your feelings? Some people they might have the perfect, they think they might have the positive, I'm a positive thinker.
Right.
But your life is not together, so that means, are you fooling yourself?
There's something going on in the backfield.
Yes. That you don't want to admit, or maybe some people just don't know. But if you actually take the initiative to find out what is holding you back, what is emotion is holding you back, think about the pains you have. That's the first thing. Physical pain will tell you where there's a blockage. And every time there's a pain somewhere is linked to something in your life. That's how powerful energy medicine is.
Wow. So, Nan, to wrap things up, what are a few things, and, I'll contribute to this too, a few things that
because I don't want to do all the talking.
Right, yeah. A few things that we could do to master our emotions. I'm going to start it off by saying, in the morning, just stop for a moment before you turn on your device, before you turn on the TV, your cell phone. Actually, I would suggest and I would recommend, when you're sleeping, just turn off your devices. That's what I would recommend.
Mm-hmm.
And then, if you sleep 6 hours, 4 hours, what have you, I would recommend turning off devices personally. And then when you first thing when you wake up in the morning, do a breathing, and you could do this in all of 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. Breathing mm-hmm. and a light meditation with light music, with visualization, communicating with your ideal self. That's how I start my mornings.
Good. So what if for those who they can't meditate? Or they say they can't meditate, or it's hard to meditate. So here's a suggestion for those people.
Okay.
Right? Because, like I said, meditation is really a focus on one thing. A lot of people think it's just being
right.
There's so many different forms of meditation. But
actually, I've played those on the show, and they were like, that. And like,
no, it does work. It's vibration.
Right.
The sound vibration does, alter the brainwave.
Right.
Take you to an altered conscious state.
Right.
The first thing to do, especially when it comes to, since we talk about mastering emotions, the first thing when you get up in the morning, I think there's 3 to 4 different types of emotions. It only takes 5 minutes, right? You get up in the morning and you feel grateful for something. You got to think
Gratitude.
And feel that you are grateful for something in your life.
So powerful. The attitude of gratitude.
Yes. The second one is forgive someone. Now, that doesn't mean you got to get up on the, call them and say, yo, I forgive you and stuff like that. No. But in your heart, you could forgive someone else or forgive yourself.
Okay.
I think if more people start doing that, forgiving others and forgiving themselves, it will automatically release some of that stagnant energy, release some of that anger. And the third is love. What do you love? Think about what you love.
Yes.
So you're starting the day with a high vibration, compassion too, either love or compassion. Who can you be compassionate to, or beauty or love? It's really releasing the negative energy, because some people don't remember their dreams, but the dreams are what the subconscious is playing the movie out. That's why you got to pay attention to your dreams. But if you start your day feeling good, high vibration, no matter if you got evicted yesterday, your car got repoed, if the worst happened,
that's tough.
I know it's tough, but I'm a firm believer because most of my miracles happened when I was at my lowest.
Oh, wow.
So I'm not
Wow.
saying this is, oh, this is backed up by science. It is backed up by science, but this is what this is how people are healing themselves. This is what I've been through when I was in Florida. I was hungry. I've never been hungry. Hey, look at me. I'm supposed to be some boozy chick, and I was almost homeless and
Wow.
haven't eaten in 2 days.
Wow.
And then for
You could write
me,
a
yes,
book.
it is hard to shift and think of something more positive, but that's the only way you're going to shift. That's the
Now,
only way you're going to shift your life
ladies and
and make
gentlemen,
things
Nan's,
happen.
Nan's going to put a book out.
No, my mom keeps telling me, you need to put the book out because, girl, you
Yes.
went through so much,
I'm,
and I'm
I'm,
so
wait,
proud of
I'm
you.
waiting on the book. I'm serious. I'm waiting on the book.
I got
But,
I got to finish the online course, so that's
okay.
yeah. But
So, so, gratitude, forgiveness, and love. Those three
yes,
things. Okay.
yep. If you start first thing in the morning, meditation is great too. But some people when they get up in the morning, it's about that alarm clock, and they're just like, oh, I got to meditate. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yes, meditate is the best.
Right.
However, if you don't got time to meditate, but you got 5 minutes, then you got what 1.5 minutes
For
for
each
each
for each of
for
those
each
items.
emotion.
Right.
For each emotion to feel, that can completely shift your day.
And you could do that at night too, and that's
And
powerful at
at night,
night
yes,
before you
you can
fall.
do yes. The
Okay.
best time to do this is when you're in the altered state of mind. And the altered state of mind is when you relax. So that's when you
Like a
fall
alpha,
asleep,
like a
just
alpha
before you
state.
fall asleep, or yes, or just when you're upon waking up.
Right. When you're coming out of sleep, ladies and gentlemen, that's what that is. When you're coming out of sleep or about to fall asleep, that's when the
Yes,
subconscious is suggestive.
yeah. And then real quick, you could say, you know, nowadays with our phones, we have this voice recording, so we can always record how we want to feel, how we want to think, and we can play that back. Nowadays, you can
Behaviors.
so that's
That's
when it comes to the
powerful.
sleep hypnosis. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? You
Yes.
can play that back. Um, while you're falling asleep, you got to get certain programs to have it loop, but keep it really, really low, like a whisper. You don't
Right.
need it to be loud because
Right.
our subconscious is going to pick up everything.
That's right.
Doesn't matter if it's high
Never
or low
sleeps.
volume.
That's right. Never sleeps. Here's a 40 decibels. That's right.
Yes, exactly. That's why the subconscious mind is so powerful,
Right.
so powerful. So, but yeah,
Nan Ross, thank you very much for calling
thank
into
you.
the another edition of the Basis Show.